Satchit Sukhamaya Durlabham Devi. I would rather be a pig in Vrindavan or a dog than get a Satchidananda body outside of Vrindavan. So don't underestimate the fortune of the pigs of Vrindavan. That's why I said Jaya Kuta Jaya Sur Jaya Chota Chua. All glories to the little mouse Chota Chua, right? Jaya Jaya Vrindavana. It's like this. They're always glorious. Let's hear another translation of 353. This is really getting extraordinary now. I wish to stay in Vrindavan, even in the body of a pig or a dog. I won't stay any other place, not even Gurgaon, or Noida, or New Delhi, or New Bombay. Even if I have a body made of eternity, knowledge, and bliss that even the demigods cannot attain. Chapter 7, verse 46. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Here we go, some more Kuta Kata, Da Kata. Anindyat mochita nindane nahi manan mlano paradhyatmano dande kaku paro vajanati pare matvaramam swam stiram durad durgatatvat stito kila janasyanu graharti sada hinoham swa Shrigalavat Sukagane Stasyami Vrindavane. Shrigala means jackal. I don't know what it is. What do you say in Hindi? But Shrigala means jackal. I should not become affected by criticism, even though my nature is fit for condemnation. In other words, I deserve to be condemned and ridiculed. So, if people criticize me, or ridicule or rebuke me, I should expect it because I deserve it, and I should not retaliate or get disturbed or anxious or fight back. I should not feel distressed if my offensive body is punished. My ninda mochita nindane. I should feel guilty when someone ignores me. I should stay at a distance and pray for everyone's mercy. In this way I should reside in Vrindavan like a dog or a jackal. So people don't usually glorify jackals or dogs, because dogs come into your house in the daytime and steal things and make noise. And then jackals come at night and steal things. They steal your animals, or they make noise at night. So they're lowly creatures. People usually don't feel too happy about dogs and jackals, at least in traditional villages. They usually throw stones at them and chase them if they see them. So he's thinking, well, I'm like a jackal or a dog. I deserve to be criticized because I'm such a nindak, an offender. But nevertheless, let me just stay here in some way or other and not get sent anywhere else. 46, another translation. I am not unhappy if degraded men criticize me. I don't protest if thugs assault me, if gundas attack me, dacoits attack me. I don't protest. If others insult me, I remain peaceful. I'm fully aware of my own impious nature. As an outcast, I stay far away from others. To everyone, I always pray for mercy. I am very fallen. I am like a dog or a jackal. I only ask that somehow or other I may stay in the blissful land of Vrindavan. So this is a nice, very intense expression of humility. He's a Brahmin by birth. Prabhupada Saraswati is a high-class Aranga Kshetra Brahmin. from South India, devotee of Rangaji, Lord Raghunath Ramchandra. Then he became converted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Radha Krishna Bhakti, and gave up his Aishvarya mode, and adopted the sweetest Madhurya mode, and moved to Vrindavan, on the banks of Yamuna, at Kaliyadaha, under the Kadamba tree. In the shade of the Kadamba tree, he picked up some brambles and little sticks and shrubs, and made a little temporary kutir and stayed there. Did bhajan and madhukari. And he was feeling so worthless and so unqualified that I'm born in South India. That's my first disqualification. I'm not a Brijvasi. I'm not even a Brijvasi jackal or dog. They're better than me. Why? They're born here, first of all. And all they do is jackals and dogs, their job is stealing. Jackals are nighttime thieves, and dogs are daytime thieves. You see them, they come in the house to snitch a roti. Then the people throw a shoe at them, they run out the door. Or throw some stone or whatever they have lying around, some brick. So he's saying that people criticize them, throw sticks at the dogs, chase them, but they're better than me. Maybe I should just take residence as a dog or jackal in Vrindavan. Amazing. So this is obeisances. Now we'll go to chapter 3:4, verse 4, and this is about offering obeisances to a worm. Well, it's a good place to start our journey of unlimited respect. Begin with the lowest creature and work your way up. Vande Vrindavana Katamaham Bhakti Bharavana Mamro Danya Granyam Krimim Apina Chanyatra Samstan Trinaya Manye Brahmarika Suraganam Kimbahukya Mameyam Prodir Gada Na Kalu Parato Bhakti Krishno Pipurna. I offer my obeisances to the most fortunate worms of Vrindavan, creamy. But I do not consider even Lord Brahma and other demigods who live outside Vrindavan as equal to blades of grass. What more can I say? My mature conviction is that Krishna does not appear in his full form outside of Vrindavan. That's a fact. That's not only a conviction or belief, it's a fact. You may believe something that's not true. But in this case, his belief is there, and it's a fact also that the Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna, the Purnatam Bhagavan, is only seen in Sridham Vrindavan. Purnatar Bhagavan is seen in Mathura, and Purna Bhagavan is seen in Dwarka. The Sarvavatari Purnatam Bhagavan, that Sringara Rasaraj Sri Krishna, Sringara Rasaraj Sri Krishna is only visible or attainable in Sridham Vrindavan. So in this previous verse we heard that he'd rather be a dog, be a bitch, a female dog, than be Lakshmi. And here he's saying, I don't want to go to Brahmaloka or the demigods. I don't think anything about them. If anyone is living outside of Vrindavan, they're like a blade of grass. If Brahma is living outside of Vrindavan, so he's not even equal to a blade of grass in Vrindavan. That's what he's saying. Not a blade of grass here, Trina. Even a blade of grass here is a much better birth and a much better position than being a demigod in heavenly planets, or even the highest planet of Satyaloka. The highest place you can go in the material world is Satyaloka. And the highest position in Satyaloka is to be Brahma. And the lowest position on any planet is a blade of grass. So he's saying, I'd rather be in the lowest position in Vrindavan as a blade of grass than be in the highest position in the material universe as a Brahma in Satyaloka. This is because here there's a chance that grass may see Brajendra Nandan, may see Gopinath, may see Madan Mohan, Aprakrita Madan Mohan, the Aprakrita Navina Mohan, that transcendently ever fresh and new attractor, bewilderer of Cupid, the supreme enchanter, Sri Krishna. He can be seen in Vrindavan. The grass, if they simply get stepped on by Krishna, they'll see Krishna. If you touch Krishna, you'll see Krishna. If Krishna touches you. So he'd rather be a blade of grass. So gradually, slowly by slowly, as is sometimes said, we will we will catch the idea here, the drift of Vrindavan consciousness. And I don't know about I left my heart in Vrindavan. Some people have t-shirts like that. But at least we'll be able to establish Vrindavan in our hearts, which is a good start. If you want to leave your heart, I left my heart in Vrindavan, that's a nice idea, but it's only a t-shirt, not reality. But to establish Vrindavan in our hearts, I leave Vrindavan, I want Vrindavan, establish Vrindavan in my heart, that's desirable. And that's attainable by the mercy of great saints like Prabhupada Saraswati, who shape the direction of our thoughts, and they shape the quality of our feelings. So our thoughts and feelings take the shape around Brajadam. And gradually that Dham can manifest in our hearts. And we will see like he sees, and feel like he sees, and experience like he sees. So many sportis. We'll see later he's having so many sportis and darshans of the gopis and Radha and Krishna's pastimes. All these experiences and bhavas and appreciations and attachments that he's expressing in these gradual development of verses as we're presenting it. We're presenting Vrindavan Mahimamrita as a series of ever developing and ever deepening of consciousness and bhav, to coming to the point of Manjari Bhav, Sakhi Bhav, which would be the final discussion. And the Leela Vilas, the glories of Radha Govinda's Leela Vilas and their Nitya Parishads, Gopis and Palyadasis, and all the wonderful sevas and intimacies that they render. But all that, to reach that highest attainment of perfection, one needs the preliminary foundation of appreciation, attachment, and love for Sri Dham Vrindavan. That's why the third book we wrote was called Appreciating Sri Vrindavan Dham. AVD, Appreciating Sri Vrindavan Dham. And this whole book that's what this book is. It's the subtitle of Vrindavan Mahimamrita is Appreciating Vrindavan Dham. And in the most highest form of appreciation from the highest form of devotee, with the deepest vision and the purest heart. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur ki jai. With great devotion, I bow down before the most fortunate living entity who has become a worm in Vrindavan. The demigods headed by Brahma, who live in other places, I don't consider as important as a blade of grass. What more need I say? My mind is made up. Outside of Vrindavan, Sri Krishna does not appear in his full, complete form. Chapter 11, verse 38. Page 379. This is about acceptance here. Something about acceptance here. Being accepted in Vrindavan. Shastrani makarna patam prayatta sayoktika sadguravo namo bha Vrindavana prema rason madandham kim urdgraham grayat ati hasya. I do not understand anything from Shastra. Oh, teachers, O bona fide gurus, sadgurus, I offer my respectful obeisances to all of you. Sadguru Namaha. Why do you make this person who is blinded and intoxicated with ecstatic love, why do you make me belch by inducing me to cultivate knowledge? You will be laughed at by such actions. So all these sadgurus and well-wishers and various spiritual teachers have been trying to propagate Gyan Yoga and fill his belly with Gyan Yoga, but he can't digest it. He has indigestion, so therefore he has stomach. It's created acidic condition in his belly. So he's belching all that gas of Gyan. Gyan has become a belch. If you ingest Gyan, then you will simply get sick. You will get indigestion, and your stomach will react by acid burps, burping repeatedly. Because he said, I don't want your Gyan. Because oftentimes philosophers and propagators of misconception, philosophers and other propagators of misconception, they try to say that Gyan is above Bhakti. Bhakti is for sentimentalists, beginners. Get some control over your senses by worshipping an idol, but then you'll realize that Gyan is, the goal is Gyan. So these foolish, less developed entities, they may approach someone like Prabhupada Saraswati and say, no, you must have Gyan. And Bhakti, without Gyan, Bhakti is nothing. And you can't get anywhere with Bhakti. Only Gyan will help you realize perfection, Gyan Yoga. It's karma, then Bhakti, then Gyan. You see the Bhagavad Gita, it starts off with karma, then Bhakti, then Gyan. Bhakti is chapters 7 to 12. It's proof right there in Bhagavad Gita. Starts off with karma. Karma Yoga 1 through 6, then 7 through 12 is Bhakti. And then at the end you have Gyan. Three modes of nature, all these things is Gyan, Gyan Yoga. Brahmabhuta Prasanatma, Nasochati, Nikanshati. That's the 18th chapter. They preach like that. But then Vishwanath Chakravarti says, no, you fools. Bhakti is so valuable. The goal is Bhakti. Devotion is so valuable that it's kept in the middle. Karma, it's not karma and it's not Gyan. It's protected. Just like when the king goes on procession, there's so many cars in front of him and so many cars behind him, and they're all the same color automobile. They're all black Mercedes. And only one of those Mercedes is the Prime Minister. So he's, in the front there's 4 or 5, but you don't know, and it's all black windows, you can't tell. So Bhakti is like a rare gem, he said. Vishnu says rare gem is protected. It's deep in the jewel box. It has a top of the jewel box and the bottom. It's in a safe. So this is people that approach Bhakti. If they approach karma, they'll get stuck up there and bounce off. If they approach from the other side, from Gyan, they'll get stuck over there and bounce off. Only if one can penetrate through the roof of karma, I'll say, only if one can penetrate through the floor of karma or through the roof of Gyan can he enter the house of Bhakti. Otherwise it remains sealed to him. Well, this is Vishnu's commentary. So Prabhupada Saraswati is saying, oh, what is all this Gyan? Oh, I don't know. I'm blinded, intoxicated with I'm anda. I'm Vrindavan Prema Rasa anda. Anda means blind. Andajana, Rasa Mad, Unmad. Unmad, Prema Rasa Unmad. Prema Ras Unmad. Unmad means Mahabhav. I'm Tunga Vidyasaki. I'm Prabhupada Saraswati. I'm a Premi, a Braja Premi Bhakta. I'm absorbed in Vrindavan Rasa Prem. Prema Ras Unmad, that Unmad Ras, that Unmata Ras of Radharani's Mahabhav. I'm serving that and absorbed in that. This is Vrindavan Prem, Braja Prem. What is this Gyan? That is for the lame. I'm relishing Vrindavan Prem. 1138. O great logician, O great purveyors of logic, Gyanis, please don't bring many books onto the pathway of your ears. O great gurus, O Sadgurus, I bow down before you. Why, by declining to become blinded with intoxication of pure love for Sri Vrindavan, have you made yourselves the objects of everyone's laughter? Hasya, grahayatit. You made yourselves the objects. Why? Why didn't you allow yourself to become blinded by pure love for Vrindavan? You stayed wrapped up in your books of Gyan and Ved, and you thought Vrindavan was just some imaginary place. And so now you're simply, this is quite an interesting different translation. You'll be laughed at by such actions. At any rate, this is the ongoing glories of Vrindavan, and this is about acceptance here, that those that are free from Gyan and Karma, they can get accepted in Vrindavan. Anya Abhilashi Shunyam Jnana Karma Adhyadavritam Anokulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakta Uttama. Jnana and Karma are not favorable for appreciating Vrindavan. If one tries to understand Vrindavan with karmic view, or applying rules and laws of karma, cause and effect, then he'll be offensive and be lost in misconception. If one tries to understand logically or reasonably, Jnane Priyasam Urupasyanamante Va. In Brahma Stuti, Brahma tried to approach Vrindavan through logic, through Gyan, and he was stupefied. And he mentioned this conclusion in that famous verse that we mentioned, is in Brahma Stuti, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Dasamaskanda, chapter 14, is that famous prayer Brahma speaks that Jnane Priyasam Urupasyanamante Eva. Prabhupada, I don't know if he used to quote it. Jnane Priyasam Urupasyanamante Eva Jivanti Sanmukaritam Bhavadiya Vartam Stane Stita Shutikatam Tanuvan Manobir Ye Priyasho Jita Jitopi Yasi Tais Trilokyam. Lord Brahma prays to Sri Krishna. O Sri Krishna, those who remain situated in their established social positions throw away the process of speculative knowledge, and with their body, words, and mind offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to your Harikatha, which is vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees. He will conquer your lordship, although otherwise you are unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. So he's saying, those that throw away all this knowledge and other limiting factors can actually approach you and understand you and have access to your transcendental pastimes and the association of your Rasik Bhaktas. You can read another translation of the same verse. Jnane Priyasam Urupasyanamante Va. Prabhupada often quotes that line, that one line. Hatefully, Brahma said, "O my Lord, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, hatefully giving up all intellectual attempts to understand the Supreme Truth," means with hate and with abhorrence, one should reject and throw away all pursuits of Gyan. Hatefully giving up all intellectual attempts to understand you, the Supreme Truth, those who really want to realize you should completely surrender unto you. Because that's what Brahma did. He was bewildered. Brahma Vimohan Lila. He was bewildered by his Gyan. He thought he knew a lot. He had 4 heads. he stored up a lot of knowledge in those foreheads. He had a 4 gigabyte hard drive. Let's say 4 gigabyte head drive. 4 gigabyte head drive. And he had a lot of knowledge zipped up in those files over there. And he tried to unzip them all and go through it all and figure Krishna out. What is this boy? Carrying yogurt and rice in his left hand and some pickles between his fingers, and then eating with his right hand, taking out of his left hand, and spitting out the seeds as he walks along from the pickles. What is this? So then, you should completely surrender unto you. So he realized that, Vimohan Leela, he was totally bewildered, absolutely bewildered by Krishna's sweet Vrindavan pastimes. And he understood the only way to understand Krishna is to surrender. So he finally surrendered and offered his prayers of submission. Samasritaye parapalava plavam. The people should hear from self-realized devotees about your holy name and transcendental pastimes. Whatever situation they may find themselves in, they should progress by fully dedicating their mind, body, and words to you. In this way, the infinite, who is never conquered by anyone, becomes conquered through love. Jiva Goswami, he comments on this Bhagavatam verse by saying, Sri Hari can never be conquered by anyone, but that same Hari is conquered by those who, rather than making an independent endeavor to achieve Tattva Gyan and understand him, if they simply sit down and hear Bhagavan's Leela Katha from Rasik, pure devotees. So don't try to figure Krishna out with all kinds of Gyan and knowledge. Just sit down and hear about him. Nam Rup Gun Leela. Just hear about Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes, and everything will be revealed automatically by the sweet mercy of the Lord. So we'll continue with the Vrindavan Mahimamrita tomorrow, and we're going up in the world from the worm stages and dog stages. Now we're moving about the trees of Vrindavan, and we're going to hear about the glories of the birds of Vrindavan. Braja Pakshi Mahima. This is the upcoming attraction. Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. 11:55. Yasmin Sarovara Navo Valayeshu Divya Piyusha Nirmala Payash Chaya Chandrikeshu Kantash Chakasti Kalahansa Shashi Vikasi Satkaya Rava Prakara Taraka Raji Ramye. Sarovara Nabo Valayeshu Divya. The sky of Vrindavan resembles a vast lake. And that sky is filled with stars, resembling charming lotus flowers, a moonlight resembling nectarine pure waters, and the moon resembling a beautiful swan. So the sky over Vrindavan, the moon is compared to a swan swimming across the sky at night. And as the swan swims across the nighttime sky over Vrindavan, it passes by so many beautiful lotus flowers situated there in that vast lake-like sky. And those lotus flowers in the sky, lake of the sky of Vrindavan, are actually, those stars are lotus flowers. Those lotus flowers are stars. And the pure waters of that lake of the sky is actually the rays of the moon. And the moon itself is that beautiful swan swimming across the sky. It's very interesting. Glorification. I don't know if it's a glorification of a swan or the sky or Vrindavan. Let's just say that swans get honorable mention there. So the moon is fortunate. The moon over Vrindavan is fortunate if he can be compared to a swan in Vrindavan. Let's put it that way. Let's see the other translation. In the sky of Vrindavan's lake, the splendid pure waters are the moonlight, the handsome swan is the moon, and the many blossoming white lotuses are the host of stars. to the next verse, which is chapter 13, verse 9. This is about the parrots of Vrindavan. So that was a swan, at least an honorable mention of a swan. And we had a prelude of the swans, so I talked about the swans. The glorious swans of the Yamuna were delegated and dispatched to be messengers of Radha and Krishna, Radha and the gopis to go to Krishna. So that itself is a glory. A swan in Vrindavan is chosen as a dut, becomes a duti, a messenger, a dut. And this is usually a job that's done by the Sakhi Manjaris. Sakhi Manjaris act as the messengers of Radharani and carry her love notes. Sometimes Radharani writes a love letter to Krishna when she's in Purvarag. Then the Sakhi or Manjaris carry it. It's called duti, D-U-T-I. He's messengers. This is one of the 17 sevas of Sakhis. One of them is to act as messengers. So here, the swans of Vrindavan are so fortunate, so glorified, that they are chosen by Lalita to act as a Sakhi duti, as a duta, a messenger, to carry Radharani's message of grief and message of anguish as she lies in separation on the banks of the Yamuna, pining for her beloved Shyam. Where is Shyam? Where is Shyam? Where is Shyam? 13.9 Nastak te kalu budir unmad nahi tvam tam harshir drita kritsonge varayatra kim mama karam cholyantare nyakshipa atreveti shubharabakan negadatan hankara pushpahante smitova pali nirvara yant yavatu mam radatra vrindavane. So this is a very wonderful Leela that includes Radharani and Shyam, and the gopis. And this whole Leela was made very relishable and sweet by the presence of one parrot of Vrindavan. And maybe Radharani's pet parrot, Shukshmati, or Daksha, or Manjubhashni, or Shukshmati, or maybe Krishna's pet parrot, Vichakshana, or Daksha. Radharani speaks to Shyam. Oh, intoxicated one, you have lost your intelligence. And Krishna replies, I have not lost my intelligence. Rather, you have stolen it. Hacha, says Radharani. If I've stolen it, then where did I keep your intelligence? And Krishna replied, inside your body. And Radharani says, really? I have it on my body. It's with me. Is it in my hand? And Krishna replies, no, you have put it inside your blouse. The parrots then confirm this by saying, yes, it is there. Krishna's intelligence has been stolen and stored inside Radha's blouse. Well, that's very interesting. Food for thought. So obviously that parrot was Krishna's parrot, Daksha, who came to his aid at a time of need. A friend in need is a friend indeed. So this parrot is playing a key role there. May that Sri Radha, who thus laughed in front of the gopis and tried to stop Krishna by throwing flowers at him, protect me in Vrindavan. So this is a beautiful prayer. This is a spurti of the author, Prabodhananda Saraswati, in his Prem Avesh, his absorption of Braja Prem, in his sanctified heart. He entered into the Leela Bhumi of Vrindavan, the apricot Leela. He had a glimpse of a wonderful pastime at Radhakund. This is Madhyan Leela at Radhakund in the afternoon around 2 o'clock. And this Vamshi Chori Leela, the gopis are always, Vamshi Chori, always trying to steal his flute. Or even he uses that. Sometimes the gopis say, oh, actually you yourself hid the flute somewhere. Because Krishna, he accuses the gopis, I can't find my flute, you've stolen it. I said, we haven't stolen your flute. No, you're lying, you stole my flute, now I have to search you. I've been appointed, I have a search warrant. The court has issued me a search warrant. and I have to search each one of you, because each one of you gopis is a potential thief. I think you're stashing and storing my flute on your body, so I will search your body. I think a likely place to stash my flute or hide my flute is between your water pot-like breasts. So first I'll search there. If I don't find my flute there, then I'll search in your very thick, wavy banis. I think you've stuck it in your bani somewhere and wove it in there with your flowers. Then Alita steps forward and says, nothing of the sort. You're a liar. You simply hid the flute somewhere else on a pretext of theft, and you're just using this excuse so you can fondle our bodies. Now get out from here, you bogus liar. So this, sometimes Krishna fakes the Vamshi Chori Leela, and sometimes they really steal his flute, because he gets so intoxicated being with Unmadini. Krishna gets so intoxicated in the association of Unmadini Radha that he doesn't know. He just faints, and then when he faints, then the gopis signal to Radharani with their eyes, now is the time. Snatch his flute. Let's break that in pieces and throw it in the Yamuna so we never have to hear its whistling again. Destroying our chastity and taking us from our homes and pulling us into these kunjas with this disreputable character. Let's throw it down the Yamuna, let it flow down the Mathura once and for all. Now the parrots here are taking a wonderful part in this Leela, which has been revealed in the pure heart of Prabhupada Saraswati in his ecstatic trance of meditation and loving absorption. And he ends it by saying, oh, my dear Radharani, I see you. You give me this vision of this beautiful Leela. Krishna is so naughty and so clever and so funny. But the parrot is making this Leela break in higher and higher waves of ecstatic joy in the ocean of your hearts. And I hear you laughing in front of the gopis. And Krishna reached his hand out to get his flute, which the parrot confirmed was hidden and concealed in your blouse, your kanchuli. So when Krishna reached his hand out, then you started to bombard him with flowers. So as you bombarded Krishna with flowers and protected yourself, please protect me in Vrindavan. So this is his prayer. This is a very nice translation, because this one is so sweet. This is about the Braja Pakshi Mahima, the glories of the birds of Vrindavan. And right now on center stage are the Shuka and Shari, the totas of Vrindavan. This is chapter 13, verse 9. Radharani says, another translation, Sham, you have lost your mind. Then Sham replies, no, you have stolen my mind from me. Tell me, where on your body are you hiding my mind? I shall push my hand into your bodhis and reclaim it. Hearing these words from the young parrots, Sri Radha and her friends smiled and chased them away with loud calls and a barrage of flowers. I pray that Sri Radha may protect me in this land of Vrindavan. So either way, it's nice. It's different ways. The way I told it can also be there, because the parrots are often in the trees above the kunja while Radha and Krishna are sleeping in the flower bed or relaxing or reclining. And then they start engaging in conversation to glorify Radharani's beauty and quality, or Sham's beauty and quality, for the pleasure and satisfaction of Radha and Krishna. So the parrots can be there, and the gopis, and Radha, as I narrated. Or, this is the Rasudgar, that the gopis are waiting. They're waiting in Radhakund for Krishna to arrive in Lalita's Kunj. And the gopis are there, and Radha's there with her Rasa Sakhis, all of her Parama Preshta Sakhis, and Manjris, her Priya Manjris, and her Nitya Manjris, Pran Manjris, Sakhis. And then some parrots land on the branch, and just to increase their ulas and their utkantita bhav, to increase Radharani's excitement and anticipation and yearning to meet Sham, who is about to arrive, then the parrots narrate. They start speaking something that they heard once before. They heard this dialogue. Previously, this Leela took place, and the parrots were there eyewitnessing this Leela in the Kunjas of Radhakund, and they heard this dialogue between Radha and Krishna. Now, they're, for the pleasure of Radharani and all the gopis, they're repeating it. And when the gopis heard these parrots revealing this intimate exchange that Radha and Krishna previously had in the Kunjas, then Radharani became Laja, because she's Lajeshwari. So the mood of Laja, which is a Sanchari Bhav, shyness, overcame her, because she was being a little bit, as in front of all the gopis. And generally such an intimate exchange may only happen in the private confines of a kunja with Rupa and Manjari and Rati Manjari and Radha and Shyam, where this kind of intimate erotic dialogue would go on. But now all the gopis are there, so Radharani's feeling a little shy. So Radha and her friends smiled, and then they chased away. Hey, Jao, hey, Tota, hey, Shuk, Shadi, Jao, Jao. So they shouted to chase them away from the branches, and they threw a bunch of flowers. Like, get out of here! Like when you want to get rid of someone, you yell something and throw something too. Hey, get out of here! Like when some dog runs in a Brijvasi's house, hey, Jao! And they throw some shoe at him. So they're throwing flowers at the parrots. So we can only pray to be one of those wonderful flowers in the hand of Radharani, being thrown at the parrot. We can't even think about praying to be the parrot who saw this Leela and later narrated this Leela for the renewed pleasure and relish of ras of Radharani and all her gopis. So the next verse, which glorifies the parrots of Braj, this is verse 41 of the same chapter. Shri Vrindavana Divya Kirti Virudam Shiradika Nirmitam Patyante Shuka Sharika Pratidinam Tat Kinkaribi Muda Kantam Shravayate Ta Kotuka Vasham Premna Tam Chatam Vivali Koryan Me Yad Adishwari Mama Sarissart Yatra Nityam Mana. The maid servants of Sri Radha, the Kinkaris, line 2. Pratidinam tat kinkari bir muda with the happiness, pat shukasharika, they teach them. The maid servants, the manjaris and sakis, the manjaris, the kinkaris of Radha, in the day and the night, muda, with great happiness, they teach the male and female parrots, Shuk and Shadi, about the transcendental glories of Radha, about the transcendental garland of Sri Vrindavan's glories created by Sri Radha. That's a long-winded way of saying that the manjaris, the kinkaris, Radha's kinkari, Aidina Nanda Tanusha Kinkaram, the kinkaris of Radharani, the Pransakis, Nityasakis, they teach the male and female parrots about the wonderful glories Radha Kirti, about the Shri Radhika Kirti, the Divya Kirti Shri Radhika, about the Divya Kirti Shri Vrindavanam. But what is, it says Divya Kirti Shri Vrindavanam, about the transcendental glories. Kirti means name and fame and glories of Shri Vrindavan, of that forest of Radharani. Shri Vrindavan means the forest of Radharani and Brinda Devi. Shri Radha, Brinda Devi. And the Van, the forest. So they're teaching Nimittam Patyante. They're teaching the glories, the transcendental glories of Shri Radhika and Shri Vrindavan. Why? Why are they teaching them? Why are they giving shiksha to the parrots? Shiksha pat? Because the parrots will go here and there and glorify Radharani to Krishna to increase his attachment to Radharani. And the parrots, as they hear all these glories and fame of Radharani, then they'll repeat it later, because the parrots in Vrindavan, of course, can talk, and they always talk about the glories of Radha and Krishna. These glories are eagerly recited by Radha before her beloved Krishna. and they make Radha overwhelmed in ecstasy. May that Sri Vrindavan be the object of my meditation. So that Nityamana, may my mind eternally be fixed there, Nityaman, Adishwari, Mama, my Adishwari, Mama, Sari Sarati. My Adishwari is, may my mind eternally be fixed on that Radharani. Viva la Kuriyan, become bewildered. The parrots, they often hear Radharani glorifying Krishna in the kunjas because they're privy. The mandris are privy. The mandris are hearing Radharani glorify Krishna in the very confidential settings in the kunja. So these glories that the mandris hear, glories of Krishna, they're spoken directly by Radharani. These are spoken to the parrots by the mandris. They recount them to the parrots because they're there, right there, in those confidential Nivritti Nikunja Leelas of Radha and Krishna. Then the parrots learn of them and hear them, and then they can later remind Radha about those, or remind Krishna for the pleasure of the divine couple. Another translation here. Every day, the parrots, first the parrots, and then the mandris of Radha happily recite Radha's poem, splendidly glorifying Sri Vrindavan. When my queen, Adishwari, made her lover hear it, he became overwhelmed with bliss and love. I pray that my mind may always be wrapped in meditation on Sri Vrindavan. It means meditating on these pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the parrots and Vrindavan and so many other wonderful praying-filled pastimes. This is meaning of meditating in Vrindavan. It doesn't mean just meditating. Okay, I'm meditating in Vrindavan. What does it mean to meditate on Vrindavan? Always. Nityaman. I pray that my mind is always wrapped in meditation in Sri Vrindavan. Nityaman. Meditating on these beautiful Madhurya Katha, Madhurya Leela Katha, these topics of Radha Krishna's Madhurya Leela. This is the proper food for the mind. If we feed the mind with this Madhurya Leela of Radha Krishna Vrindavan, we'll become very healthy, very pure, and very attached to Radha Krishna. Every day the parrots and then the gopi maidservants recite Radharani's poem, splendidly glorifying Vrindavan. That gives us different ideas. Kintris are teaching the mandris, but the idea is that everyone's engaged in glorifying Radha and Krishna, including the parrots and the mandris and Radharani and Krishna. This is Vrindavan. Shri Dham Vrindavan ki jai. Now we're hearing the glories of Vrindavan. Of course, it's all the glories of Vrindavan, as I mentioned the other day. Gaur Leela is always stretching out to Vrindavan, and Vrindavan Leela is Vrindavan Leela. Basically, we just want to be in Vrindavan Leela from sunrise to sunset. And on and beyond. Not only sunrise to sunset, because Vrindavan Leela goes all night long. Right? Pradosh Leela, Shayan Leela, Pradosh Leela, Ratri Leela, Nishant Leela. Leela Purushottam Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki. So we're hearing about the Braja Pakshi Mahima. We heard about the swan and the parrots. Now we're going to hear about different kinds of birds, chapter 4, verse 98. Divya Kavya Natakari Pata Shila Sarika Kira Brinda Sundariti Manju Kunja Mandire Divya Bringa Gunjitena Ranjite Timohane Kokiladi Kunjitena Pujitena Gitivi. Beautiful Sanskrit. I can only appreciate it from 3 light years away. But at least I'm looking in the direction of the Leela. We're looking at the direction of the beautiful portrayal of Krishna's Vrindavan through this Sanskrit poetic expression of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. Ki Jai. Divya Kavya Natakari, Natak. Divya Kavya Natakari Patashila Sharika. Kira Brinda Sundareti Manju Kunja Mandire. Kira Brinda Sundareti Manju Kunja Mandire. Manju Kunja Mandire. Divya Bringa Gunjitena Ranjiteti Mohane. Kokilari Kunjitena Pujitena Giti Vi. Beautiful. Divya Kavya, transcendental poetry, Natakari, and dancing, beginning with transcendental poetry and dancing, and pat, and recitation of the Shila and succession. The Sarikas, like Anushilanam, means cultivation. Shila, pat Shila, means they're cultivating or they're regularly speaking pat or Bhagavad shlokas. The Sarika. Vrindavan is saturated with the pleasing sounds of humming bees, as well as male and female parrots, expert in reciting divine prayers and topics. Patashila. It is filled with the sounds of various songs. Vrindavan is filled with the sounds of various songs, musical instruments, and charming cuckoos. Kunja Mandire. Seems they missed a few points here. But the parrots are being glorified here, and the cuckoos are also being glorified. This is the glories of the different birds, the quails and the shuk and shadis. Kira Brinda, the groups of Kira, that's the cuckoos. Kira, no, Kokila is the cuckoos. Kira Brinda, Kira I guess is the bees. Sunday, beautiful bees, Kunja Mandir, in the Kunja Mandir, in the Manju Kunja Mandir, in the very beautiful and charming Kunja Mandiri. Well, Bringa means bees, Bringa. And Bringa means Divya Gunjitena, Ranjite Mohane. Very enchanting Mohane, and musical songs are singing, beginning with the cuckoos. Kujat Kokila Hamsa Sarasagana. There's that Kujitena Kujat. Pujitena Gitibi. So the parrots are doing what they're supposed to do. They're singing beautifully and reciting prayers and topics because they're divine kavya, transcendental poetry. Natabara. Let's see another translation, 498. Vrindavan is beautified with beautiful male and female parrots, expert at reciting plays, poetry, and other literature. Oh yeah, Natya Shastra means drama. Natya Shastra means about drama, so it says kavya. Divya kavya nat. It means transcendental poetry and plays. So these male and female parrots, Shukshadi, are expert at speaking transcendental plays and poetry and other literatures, Pat. Vrindavan is decorated with lovely, charming forest palaces. Manju Keli Mandir. Charming, beautiful Kunja palaces. And Vrindavan is enchanting with the humming of splendid bees and glorious songs of cuckoos and other birds. And Vrindavan is, that's the next verse. Okay, 98. So that's a nice little more elaborate, which we were also saying when we were translating it. Those birds, those beautiful divine birds, cuckoos and parrots are so much integral to the Leelas of Radha and Krishna. They're eternal associates of the Lord. They have the form of parrots. What were those names you read last night? Kalokti? Manjuvak and Kalokti. Kalokti, there's many names of different parrots. Kalokti, Ukti means logic, Kalokti. So Kalokti means he's speaks with very artistic logic or whatever. And Manjuvak, his voice is Manju, very charming and delightful to hear. Then there's Shukshmadi and Shukshma and Manjubhashini and Daksha and Vichakshana. In different literatures, Krishna Bhavanamrita, Govinda Lilamrita, and others, they list the names of different parrots that are the pet parrots of Radha and Krishna in some cases, or just part of the caste. The caste of Vrinda Devi's parrots, which are rendering service. So these parrots and cuckoos, they're singing Bhagavat Pat, and they're talking about dramas and poetry for the pleasure in Radha and Krishna. So all these things are pleasure-giving to Radha and Krishna. Anushilanam. They're anukulya. Radha Krishna anukulya. These angas of bhakti. To read about Krishna's pastimes and to speak the Bhagavat Pat and recite the Bhagavat Pat, recite Gopi Gita. Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam. To recite the Gopi Gita, that's called Pat, Divya Pat. Shila means one after the other. Anushilanam, Shila means cultivation or acting or doing. So they're doing like that, they're acting like that. So we, as to their devotees, Shuk and Shari are devotees, and they act like that. And we can follow in their footsteps as male and female devotees, and we also recite the Bhagavat Pat and recite Gopi Gita or Venu Gita or Brahma Gita or Bhagavad Gita. And we can recite different prayers and stutis and poetic ashtakams. And we can sing bhajans and read dramas. We have some dramas are there, Dan Keli Kumudi and Dan Keli Chintamani and Jagannath Vallabha Natakam, and which is very popular and very much liked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which means that Radha and Krishna Yugal very much like to hear Jagannath Vallabha Natakam. So we can recite and read these plays to our Thakurji, Radha and Krishna, and it's a limb of devotion. As above, so below. So the Shuk and Shadi and the quail, male, female parrots and the cuckoos of Vrindavan, Brajagokul, Goloka Vrindavan, they're engaged like this, and the Lord is very pleased and satisfied with such services. So everyone should become like a cuckoo, speak very sweetly for the pleasure of the Lord, and become like a parrot and speak with such poetic phrases and intonations that Radha and Krishna become very pleased. Manjuvak. That your voice becomes Manjuvak. And if it isn't very Manjuvak, and you're really, really serious about pleasing the Lord with your voice, which is an asset given to most human beings. Most human beings have a voice, not all. They have a voice which they can express words of praise and words of love and words of glorification. But if one's natural speaking voice is not very appealing or very attractive, and he desires to offer that to the Lord, then he can enhance his voice by performing tapasya. If his motivation is for the pleasure of the Lord, he will be successful, first of all, in his execution of tapasya. If tapasya is done out of ego, it is oftentimes a failure, because the Lord is not backing you. When tapasya is done out of ego, it's often a failure because the Lord is not behind you. Because the power comes from God, the ability comes from God. So to go 4 months and perform austerity, one must be empowered by the Lord and blessed by the Lord. And the Lord empowers and blesses His transparent servitors. Those devotees who are not motivated, they don't have ulterior motive for profit, adoration, distinction. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool Krishna anytime. Krishna is very much checking motivation. Bhava Grahi Janardhan. Janardhan Sri Krishna knows the heart and knows the mind. What is your man? What is your mentality, your man? Your mentality, your sense of worth, your sense of... So when the motivation is pure, Krishna, I just want to love you, I want to serve you, then Krishna gives fantastic abilities. So back to the point at hand, if one wants to develop a sweet voice, then he can perform 4 months austerity During Chaturmasya, he doesn't eat any salt of any form, any type of salt. Doesn't eat any kind of packaged foods anywhere at any time for 4 months, because if he eats anything packaged, any packaged jar of jelly or jam or any kind of thing, definitely there's salt in it, in the cooking or production or preserving of it. So it'll break his breath. And why does he eat jellies and jams and all these things? Because he can't control his senses. So to perform that austerity means you cook all fresh things, fully control the situation. Even if you buy some raw nuts from a nut store, they may have salt mixed in, because they're selling salted nuts also. And your breath to go, because you can't control your senses. So you're on the street somewhere, and you say, "Give me some nuts," and you take during the 4 months, and you say Sri Vishnu this, that, Hare Krishna, and you take some nuts, but by chance there's some salt in there, and because you're not controlling your senses. When you buy the cashews, you come home, you wash them properly in filtered water, and dry them, and then you offer them. There's no salt. And that's austerity. It's easier said than done to go for 4 months without salt. But some devotees have done that, and the Lord has blessed them, and it just increases the value of their service or their contribution for the pleasure of the Lord. If you go to meet someone, you see someone that's attractive, some man is attracted to some girl, and he says, "Oh, she looks so nice." So his eyes are attracted to the rupam. Of course, it's Maya, naturally, this analogy. But then he walks up to the girl. So there's rupam, then there's shabda. There's rupam, which means form for the eyes. So the eyes become attracted, then you approach the person. And then the next thing you're going to experience is gandha and shabda. Going to experience fragrance and sound. The fragrance of the person's body, what cologne, what perfume, whatever kind of fragrance they have, face makeup, this, that. All women's stuff has all kinds of perfumes in it, even if it's just chapstick or what do you call lip balm, or some perfume, lip balm, this, that, everything. So some fragrance will be there. Then you'll hear the shabda. The person goes up and says, "Hello," and then the lady says,
Hi, where are you from? You're from Delhi.
and you say, "Oh, excuse me, I thought you were somebody else. Excuse me, I thought you were somebody else." And he runs away from there as fast as he can. So he can't quite buy the product because it doesn't match the criterion of his inspection. So Krishna, of course, he's a musician, and he loves music, and he associates with Gandharvika Radha. And Gandharvika Radha and Lalita, they train up all the gopis and mantris how to sing very nicely and sweetly. So Krishna is surrounded by sweet sounds, Madhura Swara, Madhurakant. So these cuckoos and parrots, they are contributors to the sweetness of Braj. The sweetness they've received from Krishna, and they're offering it back to him. They're his parrots. They're created by his Sandhini Shakti. He's created everything for his pleasure. So his parrots and his cuckoos singing his sweet songs and his sweet pat and his sweet kavya and nat and drama for his pleasure and the pleasure, especially for the pleasure of his Priyaji Radha. "Oh Radha, listen, the parrots are glorifying your form." "Oh, why are they doing that? Tell them to stop." No, hey, boliye, bol. And then the parrots are going on to glorify Radharani's sweet and beautiful form. There's so many beautiful Sanskrit verses. And Krishna's relishing like anything. And the gopis are relishing like anything. And the mantris are relishing really like anything. And so is Radharani, actually. Because she's relishing the happiness that Krishna's relishing by hearing about her qualities. If Krishna is finding happiness by hearing about my qualities, well then let the parrots talk about me for 1,000,000 years. Because I just want Krishna to be happy. Whatever makes Krishna happy is my source of joy. So, Jaya, Kokil, Jaya, Shari, all glories to the parrots and cuckoos. Now there's one other verse. Did we read the other translation? We read. Yeah, we read. Now there's one other verse in this chapter. 105, nearby, not far. Chapter 4, verse 105. Radha Krishna Raha Katanurvad Ascharya Madhuryavad Tvane Shri Shukasharika Vyatikarer Ananda Saraswadam Kanakarshi Kuhu Kuhur Iti Kalalapir Vritam Kokiler Nrityan Matamayoram Anya Vihagaischananda Kolalaham. So here some more birds. This is the Braja Paksha Mahima, the glories of the transcendental birds of Vrindavan, the swans and the cuckoos and the parrots. And now the peacocks are dancing into the scene. Don't forget the peacocks. The forest of Vrindavan awards the happiness derived from the loud vibration of male and female parrots, constantly glorifying Radha and Krishna's amorous pastimes. Vrindavan is also inhabited by beautiful cuckoos that make the most incomprehensible but beautiful, pleasing sounds as they sing. You hear that? I think there's a cuckoo outside. Go look. Oh, Sakis, look. Oh, Jatila, Kutila, can we, Jatila, can we go out and see that cuckoo? It's such a beautiful sound. I never heard a cuckoo singing at 6:15 at night. Usually only in the daytime. It's very unusual. It's just across the street. It's nearby this forest. This forest is nearby. It's not far. Oh, please, mother-in-law, please, please. Jatila, please, please. Like little girls say, please, please, please. All right. But you all go together. Lalita Vishaka, all Asasakis, you go together. And you come back right away. So Radharani runs off to Kokilavan. Kokilavan Bihari Sri Krishna ki. That parrot was black. And that cuckoo was black in color. And that cuckoo had red eyes. Because cuckoos have red eyes and they're black in color. But the cuckoo was not a cuckoo, it was Cuckoo Sham. And his eyes are red because it was anurag, his intense loving attachment for Radharani. He was burning with intense desire to meet Radharani. He tried so many tricks and finally one worked. In the dead of night, in Kokilavan, just across the street from Yavatgram, Krishna enjoyed with Radharani. Kokilavan Vihari Sham Sundara ki jai. Vrindavan is inhabited by cuckoos that make these beautiful sounds. You heard that one just now. You heard? It's incomprehensible. Vrindavan is beautified by the dancing of maddened peacocks and saturated with the sounds of various birds. Kolalaham. Blissful, Ananda Kolalaham. Blissful birds. Nritya Mata Mayoram. Maddened peacocks dancing. Anya and other birds. Ananda Kolalaham. What a way to... Anya Vihagais means other birds. Ananda Kolalaham, they were... It says blissful. Kolalaham means loudly. They were very loudly chirping and singing in great bliss. The translation is saturated with the sounds of various birds. Kolalaham means they're so loudly, there's so many of them are so loudly singing and chirping, and it's very blissful, a very blissful sound. Altogether it sounds so blissful. It's not fearful or frightening or disturbing. It's soothing and blissful and attractive and sweet. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. So this is Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a happy place. What makes Vrindavan a happy place? The people of Vrindavan, the places of Vrindavan, the birds of Vrindavan. They make it happy. So how do the cuckoos and the parrots fill Vrindavan with happiness? And how do they enrich and expand the happiness of Vrindavan? They do it by singing. It says that this is what they give. The forest, Vrindavan is full of forests, and the forests are full of birds. And the birds are always chirping and singing. So many beautiful poetry, so much poetry and astakams and pots and verses and songs and sounds and incomprehensible sounds, soothing and sweet, attractive and enchanting sounds to invoke moods of love and incite the lover and beloved to meet and enjoy intimately together. And all of those birds together, they produce happiness. The forest awards happiness. Where does that happiness come from in the forest of Vrindavan? It comes from the songs of the parrots. It comes from the incomprehensible sounds of the cuckoos and the mad dancing of the peacocks. When Radha and Krishna enter the forest in Ban Bihar, they're wandering together arm in arm through the forest of Vrindavan, and they see in the daytime, they see the peacocks dancing and hear the parrots and cuckoos singing. They feel so happy, so surcharged with joy. And they're glorifying the amorous pastimes of Radha and Krishna. We can look at another translation. 105. This is Prayojana. It's here and it's there and it's eternal. It's Vrindavan. Vrindavan is filled with a great treasure of bliss. That treasure of bliss in Vrindavan is created by the wonderfully sweet conversations of the male and female parrots who are repeatedly reciting the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And that Vrindavan is filled with a great treasure of bliss because it's filled with the ear-enchanting sounds of kuhu, kuhu, which is in the Sanskrit, softly spoken by the cuckoos, the kuhus. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo means kuhu, kuhu, which is filled with madly dancing peacocks and the blissful, tumultuous warbling of many other kinds of birds. Now this is much more accurate, see? Blissful, tumultuous. Kolalaham means loudly, tumultuous, thunderous, and Ananda means bliss. So it says a blissful, tumultuous warbling. Warbling means chirping. It's a nice word to describe the sound of birds. Blissful, tumultuous warbling of many other kinds of birds. We recorded some tapes years ago when we were living in Vrindavan in Madhuban colony on the
Krishna Prithaya Nimate Bhakti Dhira
बोगा आरती। Yesterday because they are
No finish?
Nitai woke up Gurudev, so I had to be with her.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, should I play the audio or?
Are you actually what to do? Right, I'm moving the whole thing. You don't need to play it again. We are going for the program. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
See you later. Adibu.